بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So last time we spoke about the meat in the West. In order for me to buy the meat, we spoke about that in length. Lamb, chicken, beef, fish, and all other seafood. Today we would like to talk about the drinks. Again, once you're in a Muslim country, you hardly encounter a situation where you have to deal with a haram drink. You hardly. Most people are religious, and even if they are not religious by nature, they tend to preserve the Islamic atmosphere. So when you go to Muslim countries, you don't see them selling, alcohol. Well, now there are in some countries, there are places where they sell alcohol, even in the Middle East, but I'm talking in general. If you go to Muslim homes, you hardly see a drink, alcohol is being offered. But here in the West, everywhere you go, in the supermarket, in the chain stores, and even in some public places you go, restaurants, there are non-halal drinks. So obviously the main one we're talking about is alcohol. Alcohol, all alcoholic beverages are haram, and we cannot drink them for a simple reason, because they are intoxicant. They make you lose your mind. Once that's the criteria for alcoholic beverages, whether they make you intoxicant mildly or severely, it doesn't matter. As long as it's intoxicant and intoxicates you, then it is haram to drink. Now, there are a few issues that I need to point out to. Not only drinking alcohol is haram. Not only drinking alcohol is haram. What else is haram? Selling alcohol is haram. Carrying alcohol is haram. Meaning, whether you carry it with your own hand or in your car, transporting alcohol is haram. Offering alcohol is haram. Planting alcohol, someone plants grape exclusively to make wine out of it, is haram. Squeezing it and doing the refinery to make it the brewery is haram. So there are 10 people have been cursed by the Prophet in regard to drinking, in regard to alcohol. The one who drinks, the one who sells, the one who buys, the one who carries it, the one who it is carried to, and the one who offers it. One of the things that are haram also in regard to alcohol is sitting on a table where alcohol is served. So for example, I'm invited to someone's house, a non-Muslim, and they have party and there is alcohol being served. Not only it's haram for me to drink, it is haram for me to be sitting on a table where there is alcohol being served. Now, if I'm sitting on this table and there is no alcohol being served, rather on the other table there is alcohol, is there anything wrong with that? No, I'm not responsible. If no alcohol is being served on my specific table, but if the alcohol is being served on another table, I'm not responsible. Same thing we can say about going to a restaurant. Now, if I go to a restaurant to eat and the restaurant sells alcohol, am I allowed to go there? Yes, I am allowed to go there. I'm not allowed to drink alcohol. I'm not allowed to sit on a table where alcohol is being served. But if the restaurant is offering alcohol to other customers, to other guests, this does not affect me. I have nothing to do. It has nothing to do with me. Now, there is some irony about going to a halal restaurant that sells alcohol. Some people say, I mean, how is it possible that someone sells halal, yet he sells alcohol? In fact, I was visiting a Muslim country recently. It's called Bosnia. It's in Europe. Bosnians are mostly Muslims. 55% of Bosnians, salaam alaikum, are Muslims. And they are proud Muslims. However, many people in Bosnia are not religious. I'm not sure what's the percentage of people who are not religious, but there are many Muslims in Bosnia who are not religious. So it's very common in Bosnia. If you go to Bosnia, you see that the restaurant sells halal food, and they are very particular about halal meat. Even those non-practicing, they are very particular. They don't want to eat any meat that is non-halal. So even the non-practicing Muslims would make a point to go to a halal restaurant, but yet they drink alcohol, and the restaurant sells alcohol. It's very common there that people go and they ask for halal meat, and they go to a restaurant based on the fact that he is selling halal, and if he doesn't sell halal, they don't go to him, yet they order alcohol and they drink it very commonly. So, yeah, that's an irony. But it's possible that the restaurant is Muslim, he sells halal meat, yet he is selling liquor. So can I take the fact that he is selling alcohol a sign that the meat is not halal? No. If I ascertain that he is Muslim and he is selling halal, and I know there is no proof that he is, cheating, I still can consider his halal. Remember what we said? If the owner is Muslim, there is no definite sign that he is lying and he's telling you this is halal. So I go to him and then I eat, and yet he is serving alcohol. So, I mean, he's doing haram by selling alcohol, but that does not stop me from still going and dining in his restaurant. There is one case that the ulama and scholars said that you're not supposed to go there. When by me going to him, I am encouraging his business. So for example, there is one who sells liquor next to one who doesn't sell liquor. By me and other people going to the one who sells liquor, all we're doing, we are promoting his business. We are basically marketing his business. And this is happening with a cost, with a price. And the price, we are weakening the other guy. If that's the case, no. Here you need to back off, and you need to say, you know what, I cannot encourage further sinning. But if my attendance, my going to this restaurant or that restaurant is not going to make any difference. If I don't go, someone else will go. So his sale will not be affected at all by me going or not going. That's the case, we assume. Then in this case, it's not haram for me to go to a restaurant that sells halal meat, yet it sells liquor. It's not halal. As long as I am buying the halal meat and I'm not sitting on a table where alcohol is being served.
Is there any ruling about the non-alcoholic beer they are selling?
Okay. Now, if there is a ruling about non-alcoholic beer, okay, that's the other question. There are some beers, it says non-alcoholic beer. Is it halal to drink this kind of beer or not? The answer, remember what we said, the reason alcohol is haram is why? Because it's intoxicate. It's intoxicate. It takes your, insanity. Whether mildly or severely. But if the beer is not intoxicant, it has 0 alcohol or 1%, very, very minute percentage, that would never pose any risk for your sanity. You're not going to be intoxicated at all. In this case, it is okay. So I don't care about the name. They can put any name. Non-alcoholic beer. In some Muslim countries, they put the word halal beer. Halal beer or whatever. You name it, anything you want. I don't care for the name or naming. What I need to focus on the liquid itself. Is it alcoholic or not? Is it intoxicant or not? If it's intoxicant, even mildly, I'm not supposed to drink it, even a small amount of it. But if it's not, then I don't care about the name. Just change the name to anything else. What I need to focus on the reality. And the reality is that this drink is not alcoholic, it's not intoxicant. Yes?
So my question is, if you're going to a Muslim restaurant,
yes,
where they're serving alcohol and it's the norm to drink the alcohol, and you have halal meat, now are you supposed to be concerned just in case, because a lot of meats, they use alcohol to cook the meat to give it a good flavor. Are you supposed to worry about that?
No. If you have no evidence that the meat you consumed was mixed with alcohol, you just assume it is pure, it is tahir, and you ate it. Unless you know for sure. Once you know, that's a different story. But as long as you're not sure, then you don't have to. Remember, we said you don't even have to check. It is good to check. For example, when I go to a non-Muslim restaurant, often once a year if I'm traveling, I make sure I ask the waiter, I tell them that if there is any food that is cooked with wine, you need to let me know. So sometimes they point out to certain items on their menu that those items are cooked with alcohol. So I tell them, you know what, I don't need those items. In addition of looking for something halal, for example, a shrimp, I need to make sure that my shrimp is not cooked with the alcohol. But you don't have to do that. This is an extra. This is an extra you do. As long as it is a shrimp, you don't have to even ask. You just tell him, okay, cook it for me and bring it to me. You don't need to worry about that unless you know for sure in this restaurant they cook the shrimp with alcohol, then you need to tell him. But if it's not a certainty, you're not certain, you don't need to worry about that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Right. So let's move to the another issue. There is the vinegar. By the way, yesterday I was reading help me with the spelling. Vinegar is V-I-N-G. I'm sorry, V-I-N-E-G-A-R. So what about the vinegar? Vinegar that was transformed from wine. You know, a lot of time the origins of vinegar is wine. And as you see in some supermarkets here in the West, there is a label on some of them that says red wine vinegar. So is red wine vinegar halal or haram?
It's coming from
No
wine.
alcohol.
Huh?
If it's not alcoholic and it's not going to.
Exactly. If it's not alcoholic, it's not haram. There is something called transformation. I alluded to that concept a few days ago. Let me just shed some light on it. And the example I gave is the gelatin. I said if the gelatin goes through a total transformation, it's halal. Let me give you another example of complete and total transformation that changes the ruling as well. Let me give you another example. Here we have a dog. Is dog najis or pure? Najis. So this dog dies. Is it najis or pure? It's double najis. Now it is dead and it is dog, right? So it's double najis, right? Because every carcass is najis. This is not only carcass, this is a dog. So dog and dead, twice, double najis. Now someone threw this najis dog on the shores, okay, on the beach. And after a few days or a few weeks, this dog turned into salt. Salt. It happens. If you threw the body of the carcass, the dog or any other animal on the, let's say, on a pool of salt, a few days later it turns into salt. So a few weeks later, this dog completely turned into salt. Can I drink? Can I use that salt? Can I eat it? Yes. Is it tahir? Yes. How come? This salt was made of a dog. So how do you eat it? The answer is I eat it because it's not dog anymore. When it was dog, it was haram for me to eat it and to touch it. Now that the nature of this substance changed completely to something new, it's not najis, it's not dog anymore. It's salt, and salt is halal. You tell me, but the origin, you tell me this, the origin of this is dog. I said, I don't care about the origin. Now it is not dog, it is salt, and salt is a pure. Another example is wine. Is wine halal to drink? No. Is it pure or najis? It is najis. Now, if this wine turned and transformed into vinegar through some chemical processing that changed the nature, so the liquid inside this bottle was wine, then it was haram to drink and it was not najis to touch. But now that this wine, due to some chemical processing, transformed into vinegar, vinegar is different than wine. Completely different substance. Then vinegar is halal to drink and it is tahir to touch. So when you read red wine vinegar, do not worry about the red wine. Worry about the vinegar. This red wine vinegar is vinegar. It's not red wine. It is called red wine maybe to allude to its origin. It was before red wine. Now it became vinegar. The bottom line is vinegar is tahir. No matter the origin, what the origin is. Even if it was wine 2 days ago, a week ago, but now since it is wine, since it is vinegar, it is halal and it is tahir, and there is nothing wrong with consuming vinegar. So, and this is called istihala or inqilab. In English means complete and total transformation. Now, another issue I would like to allude to is I go to the supermarket here in the United States and they are selling anything, canned food. Do I have to check the ingredients to see if there is anything halal or haram?
Yes.
Do you? You don't have to. You don't have to. You can just go and eat. And then, if you find out there was something haram, you stop. And if you don't find something haram, then it's okay. As long as you do not know it is haram. If I know it is haram, this is beef. Can I eat beef from Kroger? No. Can I eat ham? I can't. Can I eat lamb from Kroger? I can. No. I went to buy pasta. Pasta. Or say, what else? Some gravy. Or cheese. Or cookies. I can just take it and eat it. I don't have to go and check the ingredient. Unless I'm not sure. Unless I'm certain it's haram. If I know, that's a different issue. But I'm not sure. I go and take the cookie. This is cookies, right? I go and take it and eat it. But it's always good to check. So when do I stop eating these cookies?
Find out haram.
Only when you find out it is haram. When you find out and when you're certain. As long as you're not certain, you don't know, then you don't have to check. So the first thing is checking on doubtful objects to check their ingredient is a good thing. It's not mandatory. Okay? So let's keep that in mind.
What about on some cans like gravy or whatever, it says beef extract?
Oh,
What is that?
yes. If it's beef extract, then it is haram because it's taken from the beef.
Okay.
Then it is haram.
Yeah, I don't get it. I just was wondering.
So, that's number one. Number two, so the first thing is I don't have to check. It's good to check. It's always good to stay on the safe side. But you don't have to. Islam made it easy for you. Go and eat the cookie. Till someone
Tells you.
has no business going and checking and checking and checking, and he would come and tell you, Sayyid, I checked. Why did you check? Why do you waste your time? So he says, I did check. Okay, so when you check and you know for sure, then I need to stop. But till then, I don't have to. I can eat. No.
You know, there was this lady I know a while back, up to this point, I mean, she drove me crazy. You know lotion for your hands?
Yes.
She was looking at the ingredients, because I used to work with Avon and all that, and she was telling me, oh, I don't think we can use this because it has this thing in it. And I said, lotion? You can't use it on your hands. What does that have to do if it's halal or haram? She was really religious.
Well, unless it's najis, like lard. Lard, which is pork's, it's najis. So if you apply it to your hand, then you have to wash it afterward for salah.
Okay, but do lotions have lard in them?
Maybe, I don't know.
They use
I'm sorry?
Doesn't it get absorbed through your skin? So
No, not all the time. Not all the time. So you have to wash it. Okay, so listen to this, please. So, I'm sure you all have an app called WhatsApp, right? Most of you. I personally receive so many messages, almost on a daily basis, nonsensical. And unfortunately, I see some people waste their times by forwarding things. It's not your business. It's not your business to forward. It says you have to, please forward. So every time someone says to me, please forward, am I obligated to forward? No. I don't have to. Just put delete. So some people, please, you will get reward. How do you know I will get reward by forwarding this?
7 days, you'll get good news.
Exactly. If you forward this in 5 minutes, you're gonna hear good news.
And if you don't, then the bad.
And if you don't, you're gonna hear bad news. And some people get really terrified and they start sending, and you have to send at least to 25 people. Otherwise, a car will hit your son. If you just send to 24, it's not acceptable. You have to send to 25. And some naive people believe, and they keep, forwarding to other people. Stop it. Stop the chain. And, many of those funny things and things that, baseless, basically. Someone saw in his dream the Prophet saying to him that if you don't tell women to wear hijab and you don't send it to 7 people, something bad will happen to you. Well, hijab is mandatory, but that's not the way you promote hijab, by lying and attributing your lie to the Prophet. And by scaring people, if you don't tell 7 people, a car will hit you. We don't need to lie to promote Islam. Just say that women have to wear hijab. Why do you have to lie? So anyway, one of the things I always receive on WhatsApp, people, watch out, Kit Kat is haram. And they go in details talking about Kit Kat and how it has, I'm just picking on Kit Kat. It doesn't have to be Kit Kat. Cerritos and Bambaritos and, all those things. And they go, this is haram. Okay. Am I obligated to follow this? No. I will go and buy Kit Kat and I will eat Kit Kat again. What's this?
What's that?
Timer done. Anyway, I don't have to. When do I stop eating Kit Kat?
For certain.
When I know 100%, when I'm certain. But because WhatsApp tells me it's haram, I don't have to follow. I don't have to follow WhatsApp. So WhatsApp does not bring any certainty to me. Someone said something. How do I know it's true? I don't know. So I don't have to follow, nor I have to investigate. But if I investigate, then I have to follow. If I investigate the ingredient and I find out there is lard, which is pork, basically oil, then I cannot eat this anymore. Okay. Now, remember we said that there is 2 kinds of fish: halal fish with skin, with a scale on the skin, and we said there is another fish that is not halal, like catfish, with smooth skin, no scale on the skin. Now, for the fish that is not halal, okay, the fish that is not halal, just as the meat, the flesh, the fish itself is haram, all the products are also haram to consume, meaning to eat or drink. For example, the oil.
Fish oil.
The oil made out of this haram fish is also haram to eat. It's not haram to apply to your hand, but it is haram to eat. So if I have to apply to my hand, that's fine, then I can wash it afterward. But it is haram for me to eat. Just like the fish itself is haram, the other products of this fish, such as oil, such as eggs, or anything else made out of that fish, is also haram to eat.
So when you eat it, you become najis for what, 40 days?
No. No, there is no such a thing. No, there is no such a thing. Again, listen, we have to always differentiate between myths and fact.
They say that if you drink alcohol,
No,
you're najis for
that's not true. That's not true. If someone drinks alcohol, is not najis. He's not najis.
Well,
He's
you can't sully.
no. Don't give that fatwa, please. Don't give that fatwa. Don't give that fatwa. You have to salli. You have to pray. You have to do wudu, and you're not najis. all it says that the reward set for his prayer will be reduced for 40 days.
Oh, that's what it is.
Meaning, instead of getting full credit for his prayer, for 40 days he may not get full credit.
For 40 days.
For 40 days. That doesn't mean he is literally najis, then if I touch him, I am najis. Nor it means he has to stop praying. Same thing, if I went now to McDonald's and I ate haram sandwich, am I najis? No. What do you mean I'm najis? If someone touches me, he becomes najis? No. I'm still pure. I still have to pray, but what I did was a sin. Was a sin. It was a sin. And maybe I will not get full credit for my prayer. I'm not sure about the halal haram meat, but I know there is a hadith for the wine. If someone drinks wine, he will get reduced credit for reward for his prayer for 40 days. I'm not sure about the halal meat. I cannot make comment. Yes.
So just to clarify, the fish, the haram fish is haram, but it's not najis.
It's not najis, and it is not haram to use it in other than eating it. So if I use it as a lotion, that's fine. I can use it like a lotion. But I cannot eat it. The prohibition is centered on the consumption, eating. Now,
See, if I buy like fish fingers, I have to look at the ingredients if it's catfish or any other kind of fish.
yes, yes. Whenever you buy fish, whenever this is one of the places you need to verify. Remember what we said the other day about fish. We said fish, in order to be halal, it has to be taken alive after, fishing. It has to die outside the water, not inside the water. Which is almost verified here in this country. They don't allow dynamite. But there is another condition for you to consume this fish, that you need to make sure it has a scale on the skin. So when I go to McDonald's, yes, the meat is not halal in McDonald's. The chicken is not halal. But the fish, if it has a scale on the skin, is halal. Or Burger King, it's halal. As long as it is from a fish that has a scale. I need to verify that part. I need to verify that the fish I am eating is halal fish. That has a scale. How do? I ask the guy. I usually ask. Anywhere I go and I have to eat fish, I ask the restaurant, what kind of fish? And usually they are good in this country. They tell you what kind of fish is. I find out. If I don't know whether this has scale or not, Alhamdulillah, now Ayatollah Google is around me, and immediately I can go to Google and just make a very quick search, and it tells me if it has a scale or not. Just put the name of the fish and it will tell you. So there is nothing impossible. You can find out immediately in 2 minutes if this fish is halal or not, but you need to ask. This one you have to ask. You cannot compare this to the cookies. Why? Because cookie in nature is halal. But fish, who said fish in nature is halal? Nobody said that. We said there are two fish. One halal, one haram. In order for you to eat fish, you need to verify that the one you're eating is what? Of that kind, the halal one. Yes.
So the small fish, the butterfish, they're selling it here commonly in all the stores. That doesn't have scales.
If it doesn't, then it's haram. Then it's haram.
Everybody sells it.
Well, everybody sells it. That doesn't make it halal. That doesn't make it halal. Any fish that has no scale on the skin is haram. Now, so, Naam. Now, remember we said that one thing when we go to a restaurant, I don't care if this restaurant sells alcohol, right? Because I'm going to sit on a table where alcohol is not being served. And khalas, I took care of the issue. What about if this place, restaurant, not only sell wine, but they have some kind of parties? So, you know, there are some restaurants, they have parties on Saturdays, on a Friday. Can I go at that time? Knowingly, you can. You can't, knowingly. Unknowingly, if you go and there is a party, then leave. Don't stay. So there are two issues. Attending a party and going to a restaurant where he sells alcohol. We said selling alcohol does not harm you as long as you're sitting on a table where the alcohol is not being served. But having a party inside the restaurant and you are inside that hall is not right. So you need to avoid going during that time. Something wrong with my...
Your alarm is on.
Yeah.
Maybe the Kit Kat is calling.
Saeed, there's a question that's always confused me.
No.
Is smoking cigarettes haram?
Okay. Smoking cigarettes. Inshallah, we're going to go to that one. We will talk about... We mentioned this. The first thing we mentioned when we talked about eating poison, remember? We said it's haram to eat poison. Someone eats poison. Is it halal to eat poison? It's haram. Anything that's harmful to your body, anything that is harmful to your body is haram, such as poison, such as drugs. Okay? Why drugs is haram? Because it's harmful to my body. Now, regarding the smoking, listen to this. I want to test your intelligence today. Is smoking a cigarette harmful or not?
Yes.
It is.
How many of you say yes? Definitely?
Well,
Okay.
smoking one won't harm you, but
Exactly.
over years,
I
they say, well,
object.
Exactly. So we're talking about this particular cigarette. If I smoke it, will it cause me cancer? No. When is it going to cause cancer?
over years, smoking.
Over years. Here where the problem starts. Some scholars says, I don't care about multiple cigarettes. You ask me about one cigarette, as long as one cigarette is not going to kill you, it's okay. Yes, if it becomes addiction, that's a different story. But one cigarette does not make it haram. If someone offers me a cigarette now, and I will take it, and the next one will be in 2023, 5 years from now, will this cigarette kill me? No, most likely no, even scientifically. So then they say it's fine. For those who take one, it may be once a day, twice a day, depending on the research, scientific research. Remember, I always said the scholar would not go in details. What is the job of the scholar? The general ruling. He gives you the general ruling. The scholar says smoking anything harmful is haram. Okay? Anything harmful. That's what he says. Anything harmful. Whether this cigarette, this particular one, Marlboro, is harmful or not, that's not the job of the scholar in Najaf. That is the job of the scholar in Harvard to tell you if it's harmful or not. So the marja' will not go in details. He will give you the general ruling. So you ask, is smoking haram or not? The scholar's answer is, if the smoking, be it once or be it 1,000 times, if it's proven scientifically harmful to your body and it causes cancer or any other diseases that you will struggle with, then it is haram.
So you know that, and you know that it's going to cause cancer. Isn't that you committing a sin knowing that it's going to cause cancer in the long run?
Yes, if that's proven. If that's proven. If that's proven that it causes cancer, because some people like Donald Trump, who believes that the climate change is a hoax. Some people tell you, no, smoking doesn't, and they give you an example of a marja' like Sayyid al-Khou'i, the highest marja' up till 92. He was 96-year-old and he kept on smoking till last day of his life. Nothing happened to him. He lived up till 96. So they tell you, I mean, that's proof that it doesn't harm. But yet, on the other hand, you have plenty of evidence that not only it harms those who smoke it, the second-hand smoker, people who live with them, their spouses, their children, their colleagues, they also are exposed to that danger. So the point I'm trying to make is that it depends. The marja' will give you the general ruling. The application is left up to you and to scholars, scientists, to prove. If you believe that smoking cigarette causes cancer, a leading cause, which I believe, yes, then it is haram. But if you don't believe, I used to smoke hookah. I loved it. But then, one day I went to a cardiologist. I had my brother, who is 2 years older than me. I took him, and he had some blockages, 2 blockages. And the doctor asked him, and when he asked him one of the questions, do you smoke hookah? He said yes. My brother loves hookah. So the doctor asked me, do you also smoke hookah? I said yes. He said, most likely in 2 years I will see you as well. So ever since I stopped. I stopped. When I found out that the science is telling me that hookah could be, killing you, then I stopped. So yes, if it's proven, and if you ask me personally, yes, smoking addictively causes cancer and causes heart attack and causes many other diseases, and therefore, based on my interpretation, again, I'm not a marja', but again, I'm applying the general ruling here. Anything harmful is haram. I believe smoking addictively is harmful, and therefore I believe it's haram. Now.
And if there's people I know that have been smoking, like my dad, he's been smoking for years, like 40 years, but he can't stop it. But it is, alhamdulillah, he's still good, but he can't stop.
Well, if there is, look, sometimes the scholars, the scientists say this person had smoked for 60 years. Whether now he smokes or not, his body already been intoxicated. So it's not going to change anything. If that's the case, then you don't tell a man in his 70s who have been smoking for 50 years to stop, because what's the point of stop? If it's going to kill him, it had already affected his body. Even if he stops now, it's not going to stop the effect of the 50 years of smoking. So it depends. Why do we tell him to stop? Is there a point? If yes, by telling him stop, this will save his life, yes, you have to tell him. But if it's not going to make a difference anyway, no.
Just a quick point on that. The research says at a certain age, you shouldn't stop smoking because it has worse effects on somebody.
Could be, yes.
Cardiologist.
Yes. So I have an uncle who's 10 years old younger than my dad, and he passed away in 2016. Rahmatullah alayh. And he was a heavy smoker. So when he found out that khalas, doctors told him stop the treatment, that was 2-3 months prior to his death, he went back to smoking. He was saying, so what's the point of me not smoking? I'm going to die anyway. So he continued smoking. My point is, if it's harmful, yes, we have to. Right. Let's move to another subject if we have time. We have just 5 minutes, and then I will elaborate inshallah next week. So one of the issues that we Muslims face in the West, and this is a common issue, especially for practicing Muslims. If someone doesn't practice, he doesn't care. But someone who is practicing, prays, and maintains tahara, purity, this is an issue. What is it? Leather. Leather made in the US. Leather, you know, many of the outfit we wear, or the wallet we carry with us, or the belt we wear, many of those outfits are made of leather. Now leather, if the leather is made in a Muslim country, it's halal. If it's made in the US and you know it is made of halal meat, again it is halal. If it is not genuine leather made of vinyl, yes, synthetic, then again it's not a big deal. Where the problem occurs, when it is genuine leather and it is made in a non-Muslim country such as the United States, Brazil, China, where else? Australia, a country known for shoes, leather shoes, Italy. So now what do I do? Now wearing it is not haram, remember. Wearing leather, najis leather is not haram. So what's the issue then?
You just can't pray with it.
You can't, first you can't pray with it. Well, obviously you don't pray with the shoes. You take your shoes off. But the problem with the shoes is what? When I wear the shoes, I sweat. My feet sweat. If I sweat and the moisture gets to the leather, or from the leather to my feet, then my feet becomes what? Najis. So before performing my salah, I have to go and wash my feet every time. That's a big deal. Or if I'm wearing pants, or even this one, and I go out, it's raining, so my clothes that touches my pant that touches my shoes is going to get wet and is going to get najis if it's made of non-halal leather. This is a bigger problem that I personally have been suffering. You know, I never buy leather product. And when I go to the store to buy shoes, I ask him sometime, is this leather? He said, yeah, it's leather. I said, I'm sorry, I can't buy it. Oh, why? I'm telling you to buy it. He thought if he tells me it's leather, I'm going to buy it. I tell him, I'm sorry, I can't buy it. So that's a problem. I have to go and buy something, you know, of low quality just because I don't want to buy leather made in the US, because the leather made in the US and it is not slaughtered according to the Islamic law is najis. It's not haram for me to wear it, but it will be a big hassle if I wear it. Every time I have to go and wash my feet if my feet sweat, or there is rain, or there is water, or there is any moisture on my feet that transmits to the shoes, or from the shoes to my feet, I have to go and wash my feet. Now, yes, sister?
The
Yeah.
leather from Turkey, it's a Muslim country.
Yes. I'm going to answer those questions. So we will leave this question, inshallah, for next week. We have several scenarios. One, leather made in Muslim countries. The second scenario, leather made in non-Muslim country. We have a third scenario, leather made in non-Muslim country but out of vinyl or synthetic. Number 4, unknown source. I don't know if it's leather or not. I have no idea at all. There is no tag in it to say it is leather or not. So there are 4 or 5 scenarios. We are going to discuss them. Sayyid Sistani has a genius solution. I will discuss it next week, inshallah. It's really genius solution for what he offered for Muslims living in the West. He made it a lot easier for many Muslims. Inshallah, I will talk about it next week. Thank you so much for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.